All right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? It is Thursday night, and we get it. We may be a little bit late today, but that's okay because we're gonna probably be on time next week. But it is the Falcons play, so I told them let's go ahead and start today, so I don't have to watch them, and it could just be background noise. But we're gonna talk about some college football, and then we're gonna get into the NFL, and then after that, y'all can watch this boring Thursday night football game. And yeah, it is what it is. It's time to enter the lab. All right, all right, all right. I had to put my little Kevin Hart voice on for y'all today. But yeah, it's Thursday. Like I said, we may be late today, maybe on time next week. Who knows? But all I know, this is going to be background noise for this Thursday night football game. So, how's everybody else today?
Yeah, I'm good, good, good.
Hey, I've seen a couple better days, but it's all good. I won't complain.
Yeah.
I'm off tomorrow, so I'm in a good mood.
Oh man, that's wonderful.
Oh, okay.
I'm off tomorrow, and it's my holiday party for the company, so I'm excited.
Oh, that's what's up.
Oh yeah, y'all finna go down.
Don't do too much at the holiday party now, Snoop. Don't do too much. Don't too much.
I can't promise that.
That is hilarious. Everybody else got to go to work, so.
For a little bit.
Let's go ahead and jump right on in to this breaking news that we probably had and some of the best jokes that some people have gotten off today. All I'm going to say is don't use DoorDash for your business. That's all I'm going to say with that one. But yes, Michigan, even though they ended the season off is not a hot season, but they did pretty good this season. Decided to fire their coach due to some extracurricular activities. Now we do have a Michigan fan that's here, supports the Blick Blue. See him. What's going on with your team, my man? What we doing?
Apparently, whatever we want to. Apparently, shambles, man, shambles. As you as alluded to, Sharon, he gone. He ain't the coach no more. That's bottom line. He out of there. And like you said, extracurricular activities, dealing with a staffer, and there's a lot of salacious accusations out there. Make a long story short, he's fired and right now sitting in county jail right now, waiting to be arraigned tomorrow on possible assault charges. And I don't know, man. This is one of the craziest. This is like the most classic crash out I've kind of ever been privy to, and it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be a crazy couple of days, crazy couple of weeks, crazy couple of months. I don't know what's gonna happen to recruiting. So just stay tuned, man. This story I think is going to be very, very interesting going into 2025 and going into 2026.
Look, all I know, I just need me a Lifetime movie, a Netflix movie that's out of this. A lot of people said Tubi, but Tubi's not going to do it right. So
Tubi might give you the raw stuff.
They're gonna give us something. It ain't gonna be what I want, but I promise you, Tubi will probably have a movie out by next week. But no, J. Mig, what do you think about this situation going on with Michigan? Let alone that after, like I said, they didn't have a bad season this season. They ended off, they were going to a bowl game, a nice bowl game. But what do you think about this situation? Like I said, it's got some good movie making material going on.
What I think is that they wanted to fire this dude. and they found a reason to fire him. Because to me, it's a situation where, like, I think if they beat Ohio State and make it the college football playoff, I don't think you even hear about this. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think it's a lot about they want to get that guy out of there. He did something where they could get him out of there, and that's exactly what they did. And getting him out of there also got the AD fired as well. So I mean, it's just one of them things, man. Like, I mean, like I always say, man, if if you do the, crime and you gotta do the time, man, and like the dude ain't had no business. Like, if you're gonna get fired, cool. You you don't have to crash out and talk about you're gonna kill yourself and your mistress, bro. Like that shit was a little bit extra for me. That was a little bit too much for me. But I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, personally, if I put my like, if I was a Michigan fan, and I watched that Buckeye game. I mean, I don't think he's that great of a coach to begin with. So if I was a Michigan fan, I would see this as an opportunity to get an upgrade personally. But that's my opinion.
Snooks, what do you think about that? I mean, do you feel like this is another Mel Tucker situation all over again, or kind of how you looking at it?
No, I mean, I have lots of feelings on it, but I can't know if I can do some of them live on the show. So but so we'll keep it good. We'll keep it. But no, but listen, now, be all seriousness, it's obviously pretty serious. I think sort of on the topic, I think one thing that's kind of, I don't want to say it's being like not talked about enough, and maybe it will, but I think it's interesting how long it's been apparently known, or how long it was known. I think that's just as bad of a look, but yeah, but to kind of like to J-Mick's point, like when he first got hired, it kind of felt like those things, like you weren't going to get anybody that was going to, take out the taste of Harbaugh leaving, and stuff like that. Like that was just never going to happen. Too polarizing of a coach. Obviously did his thing there. They won and things like that. So it just felt like one of those kind of hires anyway. But yeah, it's messy. I mean, and it's all over too. I mean, we all know the story, increasing of the salary and obviously what he did and going, it's not good. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know where they go from here. The person who comes in, I think you're gonna have to deal with this pretty much probably for the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, it's a mess from all angles. That's why I kind of brought up the fact that they knew for a while too, because that's a really bad look, really bad.
Yeah,
I will say this. I know a lot of people talked about the duration of possibly how long they've known, and I don't know how long they've known. But I will say this: I did some looking into the legality, the legal issues on this, and even when the allegations come up, especially when you're trying to fire somebody with cause, basically what I read was that they have to have an extreme amount of evidence to the point where you almost have you have to admit. I mean, it's so much evidence that you have to admit that you did this for them to be able to, to go ahead and do it with cause. So I think that, yes, there were, as far as I know, you guys may, be more in the know than I am, but I know I heard these rumors maybe like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago at the longest. I don't know how long it's been going on. I don't know if we're hearing about it because the investigation that was now going on, or what the point was. But I would like to know, to your point, Snugs, exactly when they decided, when they got the most damning information. Like, okay,
for sure.
Okay. How long did they know? Did they know it during the season? What were they waiting on? To Jay Mick's point, if they win, the Ohio State game and somehow maybe backdoor their way into the playoff, are we even talking about this now? When were they planning to bring this information to the forefront? Was it strategically done, released after signing day? A lot of loose ends on this one. Again, to your point, it's a lot of salacious, allegations out here, and it definitely be a hell of a movie. But I'm eager to see how this thing is going to play out, man, because a lot of lives are affected. I know we're making a little bit light of it, and for me, it's kind of a shock because I am a Surround supporter. I've been a fan of this team for over 40 years of my life on this earth, and he was the first African-American coach that we've had. I don't care what anybody says. We come in all shapes, hues, and ideologies, but representation matters. And I don't know if I'm going to see another African-American coach during my lifetime on that sideline. And I think that's a little sobering for me. Also, we gotta point out there were some victims in this. His wife, his kids, they have to go to school. he's a very public figure. Who knows the type ridicule that they're having to receive, in school, or even if they're in school for the first couple of days during this incident. So I don't want to, get too far off I don't want to get away from the victims in this situation. Now, the young lady, there's been a lot of chatter about her and in her involvement, and some people are kind of painting her as a victim in this. Not knowing all the facts in here, just knowing what we know, I feel like she's a young adult. She is a grown young lady, working in that position. Understood. Well, I don't know if she understood it, but should have known the fraternization policy, and she knows about this wife and kids. So I'm not shooting a lot of bail there either. I think they're two folks who made bad decisions, and we all make mistakes. We all fall short of the glory of God. I'm not gonna come out too good, but this is something that's going to affect us sports wise. It's going to affect them personally. And again, let's not forget that there were some issues that probably point to Sharon having some mental health issues, and I think we can't make light of that. What did come out was that even though this information was known to some folks months ago, but there was also some information being distributed today that Sharon had let on that he had some mental health issues, or there were some mental health concerns. I don't know if it was brought up by Sharon or brought up by his family before this. And when he was let go, there wasn't any type of HR professionals in the room or any support when he was let go. So that kind of played a part into this too. So I don't want to minimize that at all. But as far as the fan base right now, in shambles, a lot of different names have come up, a lot of different scenarios have come up, and we're just trying to get all the information.
All I'm gonna say is this: there are victims in this situation. Everybody's a victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is when it comes down to it. But again, our parents always told us, don't you gotta take on your consequences. And the issue that I have with this, and more than likely why the AD got fired along with it too, was because you raised somebody's salary. And as a person who works in HR, particularly in compensation, things have to go through an approval. So somebody oversaw that and turned the other cheek and didn't say anything. So again, yes, if you guys as fans been knowing this for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, again, they've had enough. And if the rumor with the DoorDash was that icing on the cake to say that they saw something and turned him in for that, the thing is, you know better. I just want to say that he is in the county where one of my favorite judges that I watch on YouTube. So I don't think I'm going to be able to see his arraignment if they're doing an arraignment tomorrow, because he has some tenant law cases tomorrow, but he might push those back to probably do it. So I'll let y'all know if that's going to be streamed live. But yes, he is in my favorite judges courthouse. I see some crazy things going on in his courtroom. So I'm gonna cross my fingers and see if I can really see if they can get a little bit more details with it. But I highly doubt it since he's high profile. So we'll see. We'll see.
I will say this. I know that you guys have said that that Ward has been fired, but I've been looking at the local news be delayed. I don't know. But as of right now, nothing's come across the news here that Manuel Ward has been fired. So I'm gonna keep my eye out on that. I did see something on Twitter, and I did see something where they said that John Beeline could be the former basketball coach, could be next in line for the AD position there, but nothing officially as of right now that I'm seeing in the local news, the Free Press or the Detroit News. Shout out to our news organizations here, Detroit, Michigan.
Hey, they're probably scrambling like heck to try to figure that situation.
Or they might want to have somebody ready to go, or like be able to make the announcement almost at the same exact time, so it's not like
like I said, I mean, even with the arrest, there was an offbeat Twitter account that said, "I'm letting y'all know now, he's been arrested, he did this." Everybody's like, "We're not seeing that, we're not going to believe that." Next thing you know, boom, he's been arrested. So
that was crazy.
All right, so again, Tubi's probably gonna have this out. I ain't trying to be funny, but more than likely Tubi will probably have this out like in the next week or two. I'm not even finna joke about that. We have seen worse with Tubi, so we'll definitely see.
Yep, it's coming.
Yep. But let's go ahead and move on. We pretty much have had the championships. You know, we have the championship games. Last Sunday was the selection committee, and they ruffled a lot of feathers with who they picked in their top 12, let alone who are going into the playoffs for this college football playoff season going on. Most notably, the distinction between Miami and Notre Dame. Now, I'm going to say this about Notre Dame because they've been crying all week. They've been trying to pull. They taking their ball and going home, and they've been pulling. We big brand money. We own the CFP. We bring entertainment type like we're back in the 90s. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to just keep it a buck.
Oh,
I am not a firm believer in that Alabama should have been kept in. I'm going to be honest. But I understand the scenario when it comes down to it. If BYU would have beat Texas Tech, then we could be having that argument about Alabama and kind of looking at Miami and Notre Dame, and there could have been a highly real chance. Virginia, let Duke win. That was a scenario that needed for Miami to be able to stamp their ticket in at this point, because I don't think the committee would have ever left out a ACC team, let alone the next top ACC team would have been Miami anyway. I do agree with the ACC backing Miami because that's their conference team. You just the guest in the house, Notre Dame. Yes, have you picked up the ratings for Notre Dame? I mean, not Notre Dame, but for the ACC or whatever. Yeah, but still, I still don't watch you. I don't even know half the time when y'all be playing. And if you're playing on Peacock, I ain't thinking about watching no Peacock when I got other games to watch and I can watch my 4 screens on YouTube TV. Okay, so there's that. Now, do I think that the committee has set a precedence by letting SMU, a conference champion team, in last season when you had a Clemson team who barely escaped away with a field goal come in? Yes, they when you're looking at it now, what I do not like, and this is just me, that these conference championships are going to be taken as not serious. Again, the SEC championship, Georgia dog walked the heck out of Alabama. And pretty much it was for entertainment purposes because neither did Georgia nor Alabama move from their spots at all. So do we have a system in the CFP that really needs to be looked at? Yes, we do. You know, does Notre Dame make a good argument that they should have been in? Depending on how you're looking at it. Because I'm still waiting on the argument that Alabama should have been in, all because they beat Georgia, but the cushion was there for them not to get left out. So at the end of the day, do I agree with Notre Dame doing what they're doing now? Do I understand their frustration? Yes. As a Georgia Bulldog, when we were number 1 and we lost only by 3 in our SEC championship to Alabama and were knocked down to 6, I understand the frustration and I get it. But at the same token, at this point, they have been the rule so many for other teams to let people come in. This year, you just got the unfortunate bad end of the stick. So that's just my little soapbox about it. But see him, what do you got to say about this Notre Dame trying to take their ball and go home and change things?
Let me tell you this. First of all, Notre Dame, listen, let me break a couple things down for you. You are not in the ACC. Just because you think that you splitting the gate and you raising their TV ratings, that does not make you like a partner, or even partnership. Y'all not even. Y'all not in the conference together. They not getting no NBC money. They not getting no Peacock money. They didn't get no CFP money for y'all last year to bust down amongst the conference. They wasn't gonna get none this year. So guess what? The commissioner said, I am gonna support whoever I can bust it down with. And he supported Miami. They are in the conference. Number two, you crying. You crying like some HEAUXs. You crying. And here's the thing. Miami got moved next to you. And that's the and once that happened, it was over for you because you lost the game to them. You lost 27-24. Your whole argument is, oh, they got moved next to us. And well, if the committee, if they did it correctly to make you feel better, they should have probably moved you back 6 weeks ago. You didn't play in championship weekend. You lost head-to-head to this team. You haven't really played anybody else, really. And you look good. You look good. Now, as far as Alabama losing that game, okay, cool. We can knock them down. But here, I look at the knockdown thing. That's one way to look at it. But I said, okay, cool. We got Alabama here. We got Miami here. And we got, I'm going to say Indianapolis. Notre Dame here. I'm looking at all three of these teams on the same plane, okay? To me, Alabama had the stronger strength of schedule. Now, I'm the first one to tell you, I don't want to see no 3-loss team in here. I'm the first one to tell you, but I had to look at the numbers. Strength of schedule, Alabama. A caliber of opponent, Alabama. Best win, Alabama. Okay, so Alabama, whether they got 3 losses or not, SEC, could be SEC bias, however you want to see it, most ranked wins. But to me, Alabama was probably the best team of those 3 with the resume. Who's playing the best right now? Who knows? Alabama had 10 guys hurt against you guys in that championship game. Not to say that would make a big difference, but at the same time, they have a win over you guys, the best win of probably anybody in the nation this year. So with that being said, it's hard to keep them out. So now we got Miami and Notre Dame who have played each other. Sorry, Notre Dame. And as far as you're not playing a bowl game, let me tell you something. A couple years ago, y'all wasn't too good. Y'all was up in the Pinstripe Bowl up in New York. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even no football field. Y'all was up in Yankee Stadium playing and didn't have no problem. And guess what? I understand there may be some lost revenue. Maybe. We'll see. But we're not going to miss y'all because like he said, I don't watch y'all like that. Y'all games be at 2 o'clock in the middle of the 12 o'clock game and the 3 o'clock game. And it'd be on NBC and Peacock. And about half of your season, you're really not playing nobody. Boston College, the service academies, maybe a little bit of Purdue. You know what I'm saying? A couple other little, some teams in the ACC. So your draw, you're great amongst yourselves. You have a great, strong alumni group, and I can't knock that. But the draw for you guys is amongst yourselves, and we're not gonna miss y'all. Y'all gonna wake up on January the 1st with your stuff all on, looking like some leprechauns, and y'all gonna realize we ain't got nothing to watch. We might as well put this shit up until St. Patty's Day in March. We might as well bring this out when y'all go to spring ball or something. We done messed up, but that's okay. Notre Dame, take your ball and go ahead. You know what I'm saying, off the playground and go play by yourself. But shut up and get on out the way and let us have the rest of this bowl season. Because we gonna
exactly. I don't even like Lucky Charms like that. I don't like the marshmallows, so I always pick the marshmallows out. So we not even
Lucky Charms. Now we are not gonna do that on
yeah, Lucky Charms top 5 cereal, man.
Look, I take the marshmallows out.
Lucky Charms
in my top 5, yeah.
Yeah,
look, I take the marshmallows out. I ain't finna eat no Lucky Charms. I'm good.
The marshmallows are the best part.
That's basically Frosted Cheerios. What you taking?
There we go. Take the marshmallows out. We good. Ain't no luck no more. But I'm gonna save you because we Georgia fans, so we gonna go in regardless because we still feeling that hurt from that loss back then. Yeah. But Snugs, what do you think about that when it comes down to it? Specifically knowing that Georgia did what they were supposed to do and literally just stayed at 3, and Ohio State just got, Ohio State and Indiana just flipped from 1 to 2. So.
Right. No, you made a good point before the segue leading into this when you kind of asked are conference games going to start to not mean as much or have the weight, and maybe that's one of those things when we were talking, I don't know if it was last week or the week, when we were saying that they may have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, maybe come up with some new rules with the playoff thing. So maybe those conference games will start to matter more. Maybe it's one of those things where it starts to become a thing hey, I don't know how they're going to do that because you can't say, oh, hey, if you lose, you automatically don't get in because what if you're a team that goes to a conference game undefeated? So I mean, so yeah, but that was a good point. I didn't, I hadn't really thought about that, but As far as like what's going on with Notre Dame, I mean, Hen said a lot of the stuff like, I mean, that I was going to talk about, like with their schedule. I mean, I think they only beat 2 teams that were finished and ranked, and I think both were in the 20s. I think they were like 20 and 22 or something along those lines. I know it was USC and Pitt, but I don't know exactly where they ranked. And you had 2 shots beginning of the season to take off Miami, Texas A&M. Didn't happen. One of those teams is one of the teams that got in. And I heard something earlier online, and somebody was like, you know, I guess this kind of goes to your point, and maybe this kind of goes against what we're trying to do, try to make the conference games more important. But in a lot of ways, like that conference game, it is kind of like a playoff game now. It's not like a regular season game anymore. So so I get it that Alabama lost 3 games. That's fair, but they lost 2 in the regular season. To Hen's point, one of them was against Georgia, possibly, you know, arguably one of the best teams in the nation. And it's like, so they played him again. So they split with one of the best teams in the nation. And one of the games happened to be for the actual conference. So I think that kind of went into their thinking a little bit too. And then, like everybody just said, I just think when you break everything else down, I just don't think it was there for Notre Dame. They had that one shot. They had 2 chances at the beginning of the season. If they would have split those games, they would be in, because they would have finished 11-1. So that's just how I feel about it. And as far as them sitting out, listen, I think I'm not saying this to be blunt, but I think a lot of people are going to see that as soft. I could be wrong, could be completely wrong, but I don't think people are going to follow suit in that. This feels like this feels like you're kind of going to the corner and pouting. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like when you tell the kid to go to timeout. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, man, like it is what it is, but you got to learn the rules. You know, be better. So I don't think that's going to be something people are going to follow suit in my opinion.
And to your point, before J Mick goes, real quick, we just saw Florida State, who I thought was a much greater travesty. Was that 2 years ago?
I think so. Yeah.
Same year. Yeah, the same year we got dropped to 6.
Much greater travesty about an injury, about a quarterback. It wasn't even about, you know what I'm saying, on the field.
You're
really.
Right.
So come on, Notre Dame. Don't do Marcus screaming like that. Y'all got Marcus looking bad. Y'all might lose him to the Giants.
Man.
I'm sorry.
Giving a bad name to Rudy, Notre Dame. I love that movie. Not so much anymore.
Go ahead, J-Mick.
So I'll touch on the ACC commissioner first. I mean, honestly, he doing what he get paid to do. Like, he's protecting the conference. I mean, if he was to fight for Notre Dame, and let's say they took that and they put in Notre Dame and kept Miami out, that means ACC ain't got no teams in there, and they ain't getting no money.
No money.
So, but I'm pretty sure if he went that route, he would not be the commissioner of that conference too much longer. So, I mean, I can't blame him. This is what the panel said. Notre Dame had 2 chances. Like, they could have beat Miami and they could have beat Texas A&M early in the season, and they was touting, we only lost 2 games to ranked teams by 4 points. I mean, at the end of the day, like you've heard me say on the show, like, I'm not going to champion losses. I've never been that way, and I'm not starting today. So, I mean, I don't care about your losses. Show me your good wins, and they just didn't have any.
Yep.
And so, I mean, if you want to cry and take your ball home, maybe you should win the games you're supposed to win. That's just the reality of it. Like, and to me, I didn't have any problem with it, actually, because Notre Dame lost to Miami. So if they'd have put Notre Dame in, and Miami lost, then like, I mean, the head-to-head wouldn't mean anything. I mean, teams would stop scheduling those kind of games.
Yeah.
And lastly, just get to the conference championship part, like Bama's hand, like they kind of forced, the committee got forced into a corner, because if they was to exclude Bama, then conference championship games wouldn't, teams would just opt out, be like, look, I'm not about to play this game that's going to hurt my chances of actually getting into the playoff. And so I just think they was backed into a corner, and I mean, they're going to try to preserve as much, in terms of heritage as possible. And part of the heritage of college football is the conference championship games recently over the last 20, 25 years. And so I just didn't expect them to break away from that, because if you do that, conference championship games would not mean anything anymore.
So to that point, I've heard a lot, I saw a lot of people online try to say that, teams are going to opt out. And I haven't looked into it, but I'm going to look into it and get back to you guys next week, because I believe that those conference championship games are tied into the conference and to those TV contracts. So how could these teams effectively opt out of this? The thing is,
Because first of all, why the ACC got messed up the way that it did is due to their tie breaking rules. So like that's the main thing. If they change their tie breaking rules and make it similar to all how the other conferences has, how we get down to the tiebreakers, you would have never had this issue because you would have had Miami go up against Virginia. But
Right.
the way they do it, they gotta find the common opponent. This common opponent, what was this common opponent's record and different? Like it's to the point to where you look at it, it's like I see why y'all let Duke go in because you're looking at who has Duke beaten and then trying to find out who Miami and all of that. When in all retrospect, I get it. Miami has 2 conference losses, but you let a Duke team that probably had, I can't remember, probably about like 3 conference.
They got to correct.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have 3 outside the conference.
Yeah, and then they also had 3 outside the conference. So it's like when you're sitting over here looking at that, there should be no way. The only reason why Georgia got into the SEC was because of our common opponents that we had between Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. Georgia won that because of how they looked at it, because they looked at the common opponents. So when we're looking at the common opponents, I actually wrote this down so I had a conversation with somebody. But when we're looking at the common opponents, Ole Miss had KU, Arkansas, and Florida. Bama had Vandy, Tennessee, Mizzou. Georgia had Tennessee, Florida, and KU. Bama automatically goes up against Georgia head to head. They're automatically in. If you put Georgia against Ole Miss, we have 3 stronger wins than at a Ole Miss because KU, we beat them. Florida, we beat them. Even though that they kept it close, Arkansas is the only one we don't have that common opponent in. But we have 2 out of the 3. Mm-hmm. And then when you're looking at it, we beat them in that when it comes down to the head-to-head anyway because we beat Ole Miss. That's the only reason why we were able to go and get in over A&M because we trumped them.
Right.
Because they kind of played the bottom feeders of the league.
So going forward, knowing that they can't technically opt out. So what teams are you saying that teams may manipulate the season, the wins are here?
Hey, lose an extra game you ain't supposed to be losing and see what happens.
Don't do that. You just trying to lose you didn't think you was gonna win. I mean, you didn't think you was gonna lose.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. When you're looking at it to that point, and I'm gonna use Snook's team as an example since they beat Texas. Texas drops that game, and they drop the other 2 games minus Ohio State. Let's say they beat Ohio State. So now they're here with that. So now they're looking at themselves going up against an Ole Miss or a Georgia to try to get into the SEC championship. You gonna want to schedule your teams and try to see if you can sneak in. Like, okay, maybe we can manipulate the season, get 1 more loss where it's not going to hurt us. To be able to not go into the SEC championship because see, Georgia wasn't supposed to go. That was supposed to be Texas A&M and Alabama if they would have won, but because they had that.
Okay, so now are you saying the fix was in with Texas A&M, or they just lost? What you saying? Did they manipulate?
They just lost. We knew they was gonna lose. We just didn't know when.
They didn't beat Texas in what, like 7-8 years or something like that. They didn't beat Texas in a long time.
Yeah, that's why I said we were just waiting on them to fold. We knew they was gonna fold. We thought they was gonna fold against South Carolina, but we were just waiting on the day that was gonna happen.
Yeah, South Carolina, they should have lost that week.
Like, to be real, but 2 years in a row,
like 28-0. They were down 28.
No, 30.
30 to 3 at the half, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so when it's all said and done, they folded twice to push us there. And that's why we were trying to tell Texas, you lost against Florida. But see, if they were not to give hope to the championships, that Florida loss would have helped Texas. Could have made them avoid the SEC championship, and they could have bounced right into the playoffs and called it a day. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when we're looking at it, can you manipulate the system to do that? Yes. Will Georgia do that? No. Kirby's too gung ho, and we're still gonna go to the SEC championship. But at the same token, other schools like a Texas is gonna be thankful for a loss to Florida because now they don't have to be considered for that SEC championship. We weren't supposed to go since we had that 1 loss against Bama, and Texas A&M was still undefeated. We were just supposed to bounce our way into the playoffs. But when they folded, that just said, shoot, here y'all go. And if we would have did some little spectacular little issue or lost the extra game in the conference, Ole Miss could have been able to get in there by calculation.
And I just think you got to be careful about, because like this is not BCS where they're running these things through all the numbers through a computer. Like it's spitting out a total number. Like you're dealing with people on a committee, so you got to be real careful if you're trying to lose these extra games, because they might just not put you in the top 12, and like in that case, you really screwed yourself. So I think you got to be real careful about that.
And that's where it's gonna be. How important is the committee gonna rank these conference championships? Because again, we've seen when Clemson barely won, SMU lost on first conference loss in the whole entire year because they were undefeated. They still got in. They weren't punished for losing the ACC championship. But when you look at the SEC championship, you basically placed Georgia at 3 and placed Alabama at 9, and that was going to be their final seeding. Even though Georgia did what they supposed to do, Georgia could have lost and then still sitting over here and was 5 or 6. It's basically you gave Bama a cushion.
Yep.
You just gave Bama a cushion. And I mean, they didn't even really need to flip Indiana or Ohio State. The only reason they did that was because Indiana was undefeated.
Mm-hmm. You also got to think like Bama was probably gonna get in regardless, because like even if Virginia had won, if Virginia would have won, they probably would have got in, as like the automatic bid because of their conference champion. I'm not gonna go through all that, but Bama probably would have still been in because they might not have just put Miami in. I mean, I also feel like they felt like some ACC school had to make it. Like it's hard not to have a Power 4 conference team. Like not having.
Yeah, Miami wasn't gonna make it if Virginia would have won. They would have gave it straight to Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. It would have been Notre Dame, Bama. Yep, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But Virginia still would have, been able to bust that money down, so they would have been happy.
Well,
for sure. But just like Jamie's point, you're not going to leave a P4 team out completely like that. Mm-hmm. We thought Big 12 was supposed to be out last year, but Arizona State came over there and shot them.
They would have put Notre Dame in, and then the conversation would have been, oh, well, Miami beat Notre Dame, and how are you going to put them in?
Bingo. But because of Virginia's win, there wasn't going to be, since Notre Dame wants to be included, wasn't going to be 3 ACC teams. So, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, Notre Dame can't have it their way in a sense. You can't try to say, well, we're playing ACC schools and we don't want to join a conference, but then we want you guys to still include us into the conference. No, your football program is the only program out that is not playing an ACC full conference schedule.
Yep. And you lost to their best team.
Yeah, exactly. And you lost to them.
It was just week 1. You lost.
It's true.
I mean,
they try to argue that Alabama lost to Florida State being the worst, and I'm like, okay, and
but beat Georgia and beat more ranked teams than you did during the regular season.
Yeah.
It's called fix your schedule. That's what it's called. Fix your schedule. You schedule them teams.
You guys are the Fighting Irish, but you need to put it down. You need to put the fist down. It's over.
Put the fist.
Right.
It is.
I've been hearing that they want to engage, the Big Ten or maybe the SEC, and possibly a deal similar to what they have with the ACC. But I'm like, I know from the Big Ten perspective, I don't feel like that's lucrative for us. We got our own TV network. We on Peacock too. You know what I'm saying?
We on Peacock too.
We on Peacock too. You know what I'm saying? We have enough. I guess inter conference competition that we don't need another big game, if you will. Right. And again, if we can't get into some real deal money making, I mean, come on, what's the deal?
That means Indy come up off that little contract with NBC, and you got to share the benefits.
No. You can keep it. Just break us off something. You can keep it. That's
why I said they got to share the benefits. You got to share the benefit. That's why I said don't come to the SEC. Don't come to it because everything.
You get Oregon, you get Michigan, get a little Ohio State, but they don't want all that.
Yeah,
not at one time, not in one season.
Yeah, but the thing around it is if they join a conference like the Big 12 or the SEC, they're losing more than 2 games. That's the problem.
Well, that's another problem.
Yeah,
That's
and they
another
don't.
problem.
The second you lose more than 2
But
games,
not if they can handpick them. Not if they can get you a little a South Carolina.
But the thing, but here's the difference between us and the ACC. Their teams are known to be not good teams.
Yeah.
Over here, you can't. South Carolina made it look bad this year. They can sit over here and be a 10-win team. Exactly. Yeah. Arkansas may look bad this year. They can be an 8-9-win team next year. Kentucky can look bad this year. Kentucky can be a 10-win team. I mean, Missouri was getting their butts whooped, but they still a 7-8 game win team.
What they coach name?
And we'll be back, C-Hen. We'll be back. All right.
What they place? What's their coach name? Drinkowitz, Tankowitz?
Drinkowitz. I think that's his name. Yeah.
You might have to look at young Drinkowitz. Come on to another M, Drinkowitz, or whatever your name is.
No, but I'm not gonna play with you. But no, but that's just it. You never know when the SEC, because I think South Carolina last year could have been in the playoffs. They definitely could have won some games this year. So we can't use them. Kentucky just had a bad year. Normally Kentucky is like Missouri. They win some but still have a good year. Florida's just been off for a couple of years. Like they had a good, I think Billy Napier's first season was a good season for y'all, and then it just kind of tanked.
Second season.
Second season, okay. Yeah. So you just never know when this is. So with Notre Dame, like they try to put in our face, in Georgia's face, oh well, we beat y'all. Yeah, you beat us with a Gunnar Stockton, that was his first ever real start after being a backup majority of the time. So yeah, we didn't really have a game plan for him. We didn't really know how to use him. He had to get confident and get comfortable with the wide receivers in a 3-week time period. When it took Carson Beck off-season, year prior start, and different things like that. That's fine. But they don't want to talk about the little home-and-home series that we had and beat them twice with Jake Fromm, but I digress. So
She ain't forgot.
I ain't forgot about that. I ain't forgot. Like I said, we good on that. So no, they'll come over here. They not no. Go to the Big 12 or go back. Stay with the ACC where you can win. That's all I gotta say about that. Where you can win. So, okay. I ain't trying to. Oh, okay. So yeah, this game started at 8:15. All right. So we're going to you know what, we're going to talk about one thing before from college football before we move to the NFL. The opt-outs. I know we kind of discussed those a little bit. I think we're going to kind of start seeing some opt-outs. I think because there's already the LA Bowl is this is their last year doing it, just like the Bahamas Bowl. They stopped doing it with I think we're going to start seeing less and less of these teams try to participate because the Birmingham Bowl, they couldn't find a team until they finally found a team to play Georgia Southern. So, yeah.
I got a question about that because we the most publicized team is definitely Notre Dame. What is the motivation for some of these teams? Is it no longer lucrative for them to go to these bowls? Are they finding no value in these additional practices? Because I always looked at this as kind of like an extension of spring ball. You know what I'm saying? Some folks who normally didn't get a shot during the year probably get a chance to show themselves, and it kind of gives you a springboard into spring ball. So what's up with all these other teams opting out? I know a couple of teams had some changes at the coaching spot, but yeah, enlighten me a little bit.
I know they were looking for a 5-7 team, and from what I've heard is that some teams didn't think that they were going to get, I guess, the luck of the draw to go, because everybody know you have to be a 6-win team to be bowl eligible. There are some occasions and cases where you can get a 5-7 team, but I guess a lot of teams already sent some of their players home for the holidays. And they, trying to get them back and trying to get some players who already, if they're focusing on the NFL, trying to be in a transfer portal, they probably weren't able to produce a full team of what they're doing with that. So I think that's probably the case. But again, that's where you're going to start looking at these bowl games and be like, are we going to start seeing more 5-7 teams being able to participate and they're knowing that they can participate? Or are we going to sit over here and just keep it at the 6 wins bowl eligible? Because there could have been a lot more. I think the school that they got for the Birmingham Bowl, if I'm thinking correctly, I think some people, because I know I've seen in the comments they were calling on Kent State to go, and I think Kent State went ahead and accepted that Birmingham Bowl invitation. I can't remember, but that was the only last bowl that didn't have a another opponent for Georgia Southern.
But I mean, yeah, but also sometimes like you have these schools where the coach leaves, and so the school won't play the bowl game. Like an example of that this year is like Iowa State. Iowa State's coach went to Penn State, so Iowa State's not going to play the bowl game. But when they did that, the Big 12 got some in the policy where if you get invited to a bowl game and you don't play, the conference fines you for that. So I mean, like conference to conference is different. Like, I don't know if the SEC does that or like the Big 10 does that. But the Big 12 does that. So yeah. So I mean, there's just certain.
I mean, that's TV money for them. That's TV money for them. That's losing out on something for that. So I do agree. Now, do I think that all conferences should start going in there finding teams who don't want to participate in the bowl games? No, I don't think that. But I know if that's just the policy with the Big 12, that's fine. But I mean, you had teams like Rutgers bail out. I know they said I think like Baylor had bailed out. So it was Temple. I think I don't. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you good.
Kansas State, Iowa State, Baylor.
Well, Kansas State losing
10
their
total
coach.
teams.
Yeah, Kansas State is losing their coach. Remember, their coach actually retired, and then they got the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M to come up there. So I understood Kansas State.
But I would rather go play a game, get some more experience, and get some money than have to pay $500,000. I don't understand that.
No, I agree. It was a good question for you. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to, or like, and also it's like, okay, so like, all right, other than like maybe some obvious things, like let's say this starts to happen with the whole opt-out thing, and you have all these teams that could be bowl eligible. So, like, what's really stopping college? And I'm not saying the same amount, but what's really stopping college football from having like an NCAA tournament type thing?
Because if you had,
that's what we had.
Well, I mean, like in college, but like if you had more teams, I mean, you'd have to start it much earlier, and then you might have to.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, because I guess I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think of a way to like, because it's a great question to like avoid like this opt-out thing. I guess maybe if you knew there was going to be something, if everybody went to the same tournament, obviously you wouldn't be able to obviously quote unquote opt out. But because like, yeah, I agree with Sehan. I don't understand. Like I get it's the Birmingham Bowl or the Pop-Tart Bowl, whatever, but like it's still on your resume. It's still money, it's still exposure.
It's money.
I don't know. It just seems, I don't know.
You get experience for your kid. If you're in an area where you're recruiting hard, the recruits can come out and check out your practice and the thing. There's a lot of value to me in the bowl games, and I just don't understand. I'm like, well, maybe kids are opting out of these games and they can't field the team,
right?
But besides that, I don't understand the problem.
And I get it. Like you guys brought up the coaching thing. That was a very good point. Like I didn't really think about that when the question first came up, and I understand that from a degree, but I don't know. It just seems like I agree. I don't know why you'd want to opt out. Hopefully, it doesn't become a trend because sometimes those random bowl games end up being really good games sometimes.
Even with the coach leaving, the playbook ain't leaving.
No, I know, and you can
Every
have
coach
like
ain't
but you know how sometimes the kids are like, well, we don't really want to pay in the absence of the coach and stuff like that. So,
right.
It's just, I mean, like I said, I can understand if like Kansas State is going ahead and backing out because they their coach is retiring. You know what I'm saying? And, you probably, the kids are like, we only want to play if coach is playing, and it could be an AD decision.
Listen,
not to sit over here and do that.
You want your $50,000 or not? Because we can play this game and get your money, or we can pay this $500 to these people. We can go somewhere warm. You could maybe meet somebody on one of the nights when y'all doing some stuff out and get your NIL money, or you can put it on the line because you didn't play that well this season anyway.
I mean, that could be another reason they was tired of getting beat. They don't want to get beat again. You never know, because like I said, some of these bowl games are very interesting, and you see some of these top-notch schools go down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, shout out to Florida State though.
Good.
No, the only reason why I say that is because they made a plaque of their undefeated season. I don't know if y'all know that, but they made a plaque of their undefeated season. They put every score that they won by in the regular season, including the ACC championship. When it came down to bowl game, it literally says Orange Bowl. No score, no nothing. It just says Orange Bowl. And we like, don't disrespect us like that. Put the score down. What was the score in that Orange Bowl? So like I said, if you're gonna make a plaque for your regular season, your ACC championship, don't even put the bowl game on there. They put Orange Bowl.
No, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so shout out to Florida State on that one. Let's go ahead and tap into this NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, I do know the Falcons are playing, and y'all would think that I'd be so excited, even though we do have on our red helmets today. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing in their creamsicles uniforms, and I hate them uniforms. The uniforms are ugly to me. So it's a whole bunch of orange on my TV right now.
I love creamsicles, though. I mean, like some people love them things. Though.
Them is so ugly to me because they really look like them creamsicle popsicles that be nasty. That used to be like in your granny and your auntie refrigerator, and you want a popsicle and they tell you go get them. It's the creamsicle ones. Yeah, that's what them look like. And
so you don't like Lucky Charms and you don't like creamsicle popsicles. I mean, popsicles.
Yeah, I don't like the creamsicle popsicles. No.
Oh, come on, E.
Come on, man.
I mean, slinging all the good food on this good Thursday.
Hey, if it was that good, I would have it in my refrigerator right now. I got sherbet in my refrigerator right now, okay? And they don't look like no sherbet popsicles. They don't look like the Flintstones, okay? Them creamsicles. But no, we're going to get over here to the NFL right now. So we got a couple of injuries on our radar right now. TJ Watt literally went to the hospital today for a lung issue. Not sure how severe that is. They really are kind of mum on that situation right now. So they said it happened in practice. I don't know if that's cracked ribs with a punctured lung or something, but he went to the hospital for that. Go ahead.
No, I just said it's kind of weird. It kind of popped up this late in the week.
Literally. So yeah, something to keep an eye out on there. Josh Jacobs with his knee. You have Trey Benson with his knee as well. Mike Evans, yes, they did, and Jay McMillan, they did clear them to go. Drake London is still out. I just think that they might as well go ahead and leave him out for the rest of the season. There's no need for him to get out there. So to us as Falcons fans, the severity of that knee is probably a little bit worse. Huh?
My fantasy team, we need Drake. We need Drake for our run. The season not over, Drake. Season not over, Drake. Hopefully you got some incentives to play for. Hopefully you need a couple more, catches and yards to get a couple more dollars. We still need you, baby. Don't give up on us.
I mean, there's only 3 games left. There's only 3.
Yeah, this man said, "Don't give up on us."
No, just leave it alone. Let them just sit out for the rest of the season. Because, like I said, for us as Falcon fans, we have been kind of our head coach and the team within itself have been very downplaying some of these injuries. Like we knew something was wrong with Mooney and his shoulder. It was a broken collarbone, like a lot of people kind of figured, but they kind of try to downplay that. Hence why they never really said anything. Even with this knee injury to Drake, I know it could be like an MCL sprain, but it might be worse than what we're saying for him to be missing these many games like that. So again, we've been going through some true time, and we've been going through it over here as Falcon fans. So I don't know anything about that, but yeah, that's just kind of how that situation is. And then once we find out that it was worse than what it is, you're gonna have a whole angry mob ready to ride at dawn to Flowery Branch. So there's that. But I know Joey Burrow just came back with that, and remind me really quick. He played the Bills this past week, right? Because I don't know why I want to think it was like the week prior, but he played the Bills this past week. 3 picks.
No, I think only 2.
No, two.
Two picks. Okay, 2 picks. He threw 2 picks. And basically, team got ran over by the Bills. how do y'all think? And today was actually his birthday too, to be honest with you. So happy birthday, Joey. He's a Sagittarius. He's gone with the one fabulous. So when we're looking at this situation, what do you think? Where do you think Joey Burrow stands with the Cincinnati Bengals? I mean, ever since he came into the league, I don't think he actually had a full season without being injured.
No,
Somebody correct me.
No, I think the Super Bowl season and the season
Yeah,
I think those are his two health.
Just two? Okay.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to remember if he got hurt, missed one game or so. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been dealing with injuries.
Maybe
ever since he got into the league.
Maybe the year after the Super Bowl, he might have been out for like the first 2 games of the season with the little leg thing. But I mean, he didn't miss a lot of time that year. So
okay. I'm just so how do we feel about this? Because we crown Joey Burrow, we keep him up in the top 5. If you keep him up in the top 5 of your QB, some probably keep him up in the top 10. But what are we thinking about Mr. Burrow over here? Go ahead, Hen.
I think he's a little frustrated. He didn't play terribly against Buffalo, but he's steadily losing. You know, whether it be this year, whether it be years prior, he's got Chase, he's got T. Higgins, but they haven't really put a consistent defense around him. They haven't really put a consistent offensive line around him. I saw something today where they were saying that he's played like 14 games less than Andrew Luck. Been sacked like 30 more times. So, you know, maybe the losing and the physical toll is taking its toll on him, and he's having a little bit of an epiphany, like, hey, can I do it here? You know, we talked about the article that we posted in the chat that kind of said that, you know, maybe Tom Brady had the same kind of words for his team, and that kind of motivated them to get a little bit better in terms of their scouting or whatever. Maybe he's trying to have that same effect in Cincinnati, because I'm not going to say they're wasting his prime, but he's there, and you know, you would expect him to have similar to success as a Lamar or as a Josh Allen, but it seems like they just can't get over the hump there in Cincinnati.
Snugs, what do you think?
I think I understand the concerns. You know, like I think he's been stacked like 230 times, and we're all on the same page on that. But I think before they would even walk down that road, because somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Stafford was already in his 30s when he got traded to the Rams. Burrow's 29.
Ooh, mid. I want to say Stafford was mid 30s.
He was early 30s. I think he did 9 years this year. So
in my opinion, 31. And this is kind of the same way. And I'm not saying it because I think the Ravens would trade Lamar, but I'm just using him as an example because I think they're another team where I'm going with it. I think you would move off of the coach, and you would make changes in that world before the Burrow thing would even be a blimp on the radar. The only way to me that the Bengals would trade Burrow, let's just say this offseason, which I'm telling you right now, I don't see that happening. But the only way I think that scenario happens is if Burrow literally says, I will not play for the Cincinnati Bengals ever again. So it's either retirement or trade. Like he pulls like one of those, and do we really see? I don't see it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think like you'll probably see Zach Taylor go. You'll see some other things like maybe the next guy will prioritize the offensive line a little more. They will focus a little more because they haven't not tried to get help on defense. They just haven't been so great on getting that help. You know, I mean, look at the kid they just drafted, right? I mean, you know, so there's one example. So. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Where I'm not saying it's not getting to a little bit of an ugly point, and I'm not saying there's not maybe you have like maybe 10% concern, maybe 20 if you're a fan of the Bengals. But I just think they would do I think some other steps before they would even consider trading Joe Burrow, in my opinion.
So I have bad news for Joe Burrow if he wanted to get traded. There's this quarterback whose name was Carson Palmer. He did the same thing.
There it is.
He said, I want to be traded or I'll retire. The owner said, go ahead and retire then. I mean, that's just, you got to know who you're dealing with. That's why, if you didn't want to continue to play there, you should have never signed the extension. You should just played out your contract, took the 2 franchise years, and then, left the team. But see, and I get it. You want to get paid and all this good stuff. But, that ownership is not the ownership that you want to play hardball with. Like,
Yeah.
and what's my boy's name? Trey Henderson. Ask him about that.
Mhm.
He want to get traded for 2 years and he ain't got traded. So I'm just saying, like, that's just who you're dealing with. You gotta know who you're dealing with. And I mean, from the quarterback, from the Burrow perspective, like, what I think of is like you work year round to get yourself, well, not year round, but like 6 to 8 months to get yourself to the training camp into the season. And you work so hard and you get injured in the beginning of the season. And so I see mentally how that could take its toll. Like it makes sense. And so, I mean, maybe that's just where he's at right now. The team probably not going to make the playoffs for the third year in a row. You put in all this work, you keep getting hurt. And I mean, that could push you into like a state of depression, in a sort of way. So I do get it. I mean, he got to go to the front office and be like, look, man, like I'm in my prime. Like, we need to kind of get this thing going. Like, he should I'm trying to win a chip. And so like we got to get not just the offense better, but the defense better. I mean, so I can win, because I guarantee you, if he was winning, he would not feel this way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that at the end. I agree with that at the end.
Well, and I mean that is something that um a lot of people have to look at. A lot of people have to kind of, take into consideration when they're looking at that team. Like, I know they got a Georgia boy, actually two Georgia boys over there, on the line, and I didn't think Mims was a good fit for them anyway. I think they just went after the logo on the helmet for him. I know that he kind of was hurt coming into there. He got hurt, but Mims to me was a Pittsburgh Steeler offensive lineman. He was not a Cincinnati, and I don't think that was a good pickup for them when it comes down to it. So I definitely agree that it needs to be an evaluation from the top to the bottom to figure out what can they do before Joey gets to that point. Because at this point, he's a competitor. He's gonna. I mean, as you can see, this man had toe surgery for turf toe, and came back. He wasn't supposed to be back this season, and he came back. So he's a competitor. He wants to play. He wants to fight through it. But if he's gonna keep fighting, I think he needs the team to fight with him. So that is something to kind of monitor in the offseason once we get there, because I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals are even in playoff contention. So that is something that is probably going to be definitely looked at this offseason moving forward. Exactly what can Joey Burrow? And it's funny because I was wondering where this was coming from, but I had a Falcon fan in our group chat literally said that he's going to buy him a Joey Burrow's Falcons jersey. So,
That's manifestation right there.
Yeah. That's he's trying to manifest that really for real, but I don't think he's coming out of the AFC, let alone.
One of my buddies who's a Dolphin fan, he said who would say no to Tyreek Hill and Tua and 2 first-round picks? I'm like, just stop it. I'm like, they don't want Tua, and Tyreek Hill is hurt, man. Okay, just stop.
He might be done playing football, so we don't know. That's another one that you got to take a look on moving into the offseason as well. Where is Mr. Tyreek Hill going to go? Is he going to retire, or is somebody going to give him a chance?
The NFL offseason is sometimes better than some of the games you watch.
I mean, look, for me, it's probably going to be one heck of an offseason. Yeah. So there goes that. So yes, we do have our Thursday night game, which is against Atlanta and Tampa Bay. That's going on right now. I just seen that we had bad clock management, went from 33 to 30-12 and got off the field. So we're not going to talk about that game like that, because I do not see them winning. Again, the Rams, you are very much thankful for having a high top round pick, because we win this will be lose this will be 4-10, and that just pushed the Rams further and further up north rather than down south like we planned with it. That's what happens when you trade the first round pick. So we got a couple of premier games that are going on right now, because I know last week we had some exciting games that actually went on with some with some teams looking like Kansas City. They fans are actually losing it right now, to be honest with you. Some fans are like, we can win out and still make the playoffs. Other fans is like, give it up. So we have a couple, and I'm going to pick some here. I'm gonna pick Green Bay versus Denver, even though I know this is not a conference type win. This is an out of conference type win for both teams. But you got Green Bay that's 9-3-1, and then you have Denver that's 11-2. Seahan was very gracious enough to give us the over under on here, and
Yeah, you know we need that money, baby. It's almost Christmas time.
it is. Green Bay is a 2.5 point favorite, so that game could swing either way. We are definitely going to give Seattle a holler versus. Well, you know what? We're not because they just lost their quarterback. That's a win for y'all. So congratulations, Snugs, because they didn't literally took Mr. Philip Rivers out of retirement, just to put him on the practice squad. So there's that. The grandfather. We're gonna look at Detroit versus the Rams. Detroit is 8-5 versus the LA Rams 10-3. Detroit is a 6 point favorite, and then we got Buffalo.
Rams are a 6 point favorite.
Rams. I'm sorry, Rams are a 6 point favorite. I'm sorry. We got Buffalo versus New England. This is a battle. Look. I look. You see, Jay been kind of smile like we ain't worried about this.
Big game.
It's the clincher, a clinching game.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
A hat and t-shirt.
Right here.
That's what kind of game this is.
You got to get out like a special mug or something, J Mick. You know, you have to whip out the Tom Brady jersey.
Look, they're gonna have to do some type of voodoo over there. Buffalo is a 1.5 point favorite, so that means the game could swing either way. So this is going to be one of those games where you really going to see who it is. Can New England put themselves back up into rare dominance, or can Buffalo still try to sit over here and say, "Nah, we got this"? So those are our three premier games this week. So we're gonna kind of go. I know we didn't, and just to let everybody know, I know we're not picking college for that with the championship games. We're gonna wait until we get to the Final Four to actually pick it because it's just too long of a game slate for that one. So we're just gonna wait to the Final Four to pick those once we get past that. But we're gonna do the our three NFL games. So J Mick, I'm gonna get you last because your game is gonna be that one. I'm gonna get you last. So C-Hen, go ahead and give me your predictions for Green Bay versus Denver, your team versus the Rams, and then that Buffalo New England's game.
Okay. Green Bay versus Denver. This is an if-then bet for me. If Josh Jacobs is okay, then I'm going with Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? If he's not, then I think I'm going to go with Denver. But I think it's going to be a good game. I like the way Jordan Love is playing these last couple games. He gets his full complement of receivers back with Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Romeo Dobbs. I think that they're gonna challenge Denver a little bit offensively. That strong defense of Denver, I should say. And I'm not quite sure on Bo Nix. He's been a little shaky, so I'm gonna go with Green Bay in that game. For all you fantasy players, please make sure you check on Josh Jacobs, his status. He didn't practice yesterday or today. You might want to throw Emmanuel Wilson on your bench just in case he is a late scratch. As far as the Lions and the Rams game, hey, check this out. Brad Bowl, first move you ever made, man. Traded Stafford and got us golf and got us started, man. So listen, I need some of that good mojo to go out to LA, man, and get this victory. Because you know what? We need to help our boys Snugs out. We need to help them out by knocking off the Rams. You know what I'm saying? And help us out in our pursuit of the playoffs. So I'm going with the Lions in that one. And I'm going to take the over. The over, I think, was 54.5. I think it's a shootout over in that game. And lastly, was it the Bills and the Patriots? Listen here. Drake May, you say you want to be the MVP. You say you want to be the man. You say you want to win the division. Hey, lights is on, baby. Josh Allen time, Buffalo, snowy, December. This is it. I think Drake May puts on a little bit of a show, and I think they pull this game out and clinch the NFC East. The first time in 5-6 years that the Buffalo Bills don't win it?
It'll be because they won the last 5, yeah.
Okay. I'm going with the Patriots in that one. I'm going with the Patriots. And I believe in old man Rivers. I think it's going to be I'm standing up for the 40-year-olds this week. I believe in old man Rivers. He may not win, but he going to cover that 13.5. Folks, if y'all want some money, you can cover that 13.5. I believe that. I believe that.
All right.
He knows the offense, and he had to get away from them 12 kids to get out there. He gonna be excited to be
and
out there.
grandkids. Y'all forget this man got grandkids. What are we doing?
Oh yeah, he got a grandkid. Yeah.
All right, Snooks, go ahead and with
All right.
because like I said, because I know Seattle might pull this one out, so they keeping up with the 49ers right now. So what do you got for the other three?
All right, the other three. So listen, big Bronco fan this weekend because we just kind of need them to win a little bit more. That one is the Packers don't really play well in Denver historically. I think it's been a little bit of time since they've even won there as well. I could see that game. I'm not sure if you said the over under. I could see that game actually maybe being the under or being really close. And to your point with Jacobs, I don't know what's going on with him. I'm gonna lean Denver. I'm gonna lean Denver in a low scoring close game.
42.5, the over.
Yeah, so like I could see it. I could see a 20-17 type game, something like that. Rams and Lions. Man, like C-Han already said it. I need the Lions to win that game. I mean, obviously just as badly I need my team to win, but that would be massive because everything's going on with the Colts and the Phillip Rivers stuff. I'm pretty sure Seattle probably does win that game, probably even comfortably. So, I think it's a tough game. The Lions in this spot, they're going to LA. I'm gonna go for the Lions, but this is. I mean, I'm more picking it because I need to see them win and want them to win. But that's a tough game still, But I can see the Lions though. To kind of see Hans' point, I think Goff always has a little bit in his, a little bit of something back with mind every time he plays them, and I kind of don't blame him. All right, now this game. This is tough, right? I'm certainly not going to pick against the Patriots with J-Mick on the same panel. There's no way. But listen, here's the thing, though. But football reasons, though, right? Most games that I've watched of the Bills this year, and not just all, like I've watched a few of their games, I seem like one theme that I see often talking on their defensive side is they've always had a little bit of problems stopping running that ball, But I know New England has had their issues running the ball, right? So I thought about that, and I don't like that. But here's the thing that I don't like with the Bills' offense now versus their defense is I think the Patriots' corners can contain those receivers.
Yes.
I don't think the Bills have a dynamic guy in that room that's going to make life difficult on Gonzo and co. I just don't see that. Will a lot of points be scored? Maybe not. I think to see Hen's point, the one game that might scream shootout is that Lions-Rams game. Just because, it's kind of set up like that. It's in LA, should be good weather, et cetera, et cetera. Two offensive, minded teams and, talent-wise. Maybe another close game. We're going to give it to the Pats. You know what? I'm going to give it to the Pats in a walk-off field goal. That's how I'm going to give it to the Pats. That's how we're going to do it. And then I'm going to immediately find J-Mick in a space, and I want to hear his excitement. But honestly, yeah, that was my deciding factor is even though I think the running the ball could be a little difficult, I think the Patriots defense will be the difference in the game.
Interesting. So when you got the second game is going to end just like the first game. Interesting.
Okay. Go ahead, Jake.
Well, yeah, but it might not be a walk-off. I just think the first game, I think you're going to get a lot of that erratic Jordan Love against the Packers, man. I mean, against the Broncos. That's why I say that, man. That's why.
Packers, Broncos. I've been saying this all season, man. The Packers are a different team when they're at home versus when they're on the road. Like their road record is still pretty good, but they just don't play as good on the road as at home. Broncos have been winning a lot of close games. This is a hard game to pick. I think the Packers are going to pull this one out, and especially if the running back for the Packers plays, Jacobs. I mean, if he plays, then I'm pretty confident in the pick. If he doesn't play, then I would probably lean towards the Broncos. Lions, Rams, definitely hit the over. To me, the over definitely gonna hit in that game. The Lions have to have this game because they are trying to catch whoever's in the. I believe the Bears are in the 7th seed right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get back in the playoffs. Playing in LA is not really going on the road because they don't got a lot of fans out there. So I'm pretty sure the Lion fans are gonna travel well for that game. I'm gonna go for the underdog in this game. I mean, I really like the Lions team. Like, I like the weapons that they have. My only question is, defensively, are they healthy enough? But I think they'll make enough stops to actually beat the Rams. So I'll take the Lions. In my game, we beat them the first time. We're trying to go for the sweep. I mean, like we are trying to take out them brooms. And doing that by doing that, it's a hat and t-shirt game. So if we win this game, we win the division. And I think that we're going into this game off a bye. Like, it gives my team 2 weeks to prepare for the Bills. And I don't really like kind of like Snuggs and you see Henry said, like, the Bills wide receivers, they don't scare me. Like, we have the corners to shut them down. Our issue is shutting down the tight end. Like, we have a hard time doing that. But I think we'll be able to do that. I mean, the Bills' run defense is not that good, so I think we're definitely going to try to run the ball, just to keep them honest. And I just think Drake May going to keep playing like Drake May. And you already know who I'm picking. I'm definitely picking the Patriots.
Now, Snug, real quick. Now, is Ramondre going to run this rock, or is it going to be Travion? Just a little birdie needs to know. Who's going to be running this rock?
I would say it's going to be like a 60-40 split. Like, I think Mondre is going to carry the ball 60% of the time, and I think Henderson will get it the other 40% of the time.
Oh, okay. I need to hear that. Okay.
Like, they both should be fresh because, like I said, we had a bye week. So, but yeah, I mean, to me, like, in terms of like schematics, like, Mondre is our better between the tackles runner, and Henderson is our better runner outside the tackles. So.
I would say, if you're looking for props real quick, while money's on the floor, we like to get money on the floor. I know the Colts might lose, but you know who's one of the worst teams at defending the tight end? It is the Seahawks. They're like 27. Yeah,
I got Taiwan.
Yeah,
so if whatever, I don't know what Warren's props are, like catches or yards, but I would look at Warren's numbers because like they're like 27th in the league at defending tight end.
Listen, he only projected for 6 points in my fantasy league, so I'm a guess the props are right along with that. Not much, but
probably
look that up though. Snug. 27.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Kyle Pitts kind of went off on the Seahawks last week,
See?
even though
they're not.
So.
It's just because the way that their defense is so structured, it's like he had Roquan Smith over in the Ravens, but they don't really have like a dominant linebacker guy. That's why they play a lot of that nickel and a lot of that kind of like a hybrid 3-4 like type stuff that he does. That's one of the reasons why, because they don't have like a deep room.
I will tell you right now, trust him. He studies the Seahawks for a living.
I believe.
They're on my big 4 hate list.
I believe.
All right. So for me, I do agree, but this is what I'll say. Denver at this point is more than likely running away with the AFC West right now at this point. So I think this is just a little bit more motivation to go ahead and add them extra wins, solidify a playoff spot for them, and kind of skirt away from the Chiefs. So I'm going to give it to Denver. I do think that Green Bay could possibly pull it off, but I'm going to give that to Denver because it's just a lot into it. When you kind of have that lead, especially when you can probably finally beat the Chiefs for the first time in a couple of years over there in that AFC West. Detroit versus the Rams. Rams still been playing good as long as they got Matt Stafford over there throwing the football and they got a good defense, they'll be fine. But I'm definitely giving this to Detroit. If Denver can pull this off, Detroit might be over their game watching a little bit to give them that motivation to go ahead and try to pull this off to get back into the playoffs. And then y'all know I hate the Bills, so I'm going with the Patriots anyway.
There it is. That was easy enough.
Oh, you admitted it. We got you to admit it. You never admitted you hated the Bills before.
Yeah,
I kind of just hated them. You never admitted it.
I think it's fun. I think it's funny that people hate the Bills the way they do, and they're not like I get they're good, but it's like the 0-4 thing, never won one ever. It's like, man,
we're just gonna keep it that way.
I know, I hear you. Hey,
as
listen,
somebody who saw those things live, they lost some folks some money. They definitely.
I'm sure.
A couple of those years, I thought they were gonna really win.
Bro, if I was a Buffalo Bill fan, I would still have trauma from 0-4. That's tough, man. It's one thing to lose 4 like in a 10-year span, 4 in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I might have become a bass fishing fan at that point in time.
I mean, at that point, that's the only thing that you can have, like, you can win in.
I'm just saying. That's tough, man. That's tough.
Real quick,
That
Tyler
is
Warren,
crazy.
over under receiving 33.5 yards.
See, bro, I'm telling you right now, bro, he's going over 33 yards, my man. There's no
My man
because
stood.
if for any other reason alone, they're going to be trailing probably the whole second half, or at least the majority of it. And Rivers likes tight ends. Look at his days with Antonio Gates.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
12 to 20
Hey.
yards. Old man Rivers, he still got
That's how
it.
long.
Old man
That's how
Rivers.
long ago we played, bro. Bro,
You know what
Philip
I'm saying?
Rivers came back before Brandon Ayuk. I'm done, guys. I'm done. I'm done, guys. All right. I can't, bro.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Oh my God.
I'm done, bro.
Like I said, we had an interesting thing within football, from college football to NFL that's going on right now. It is shaping up to be a blockbuster of experience. I'm just going to tell y'all like this. Also, we have the Winter Olympics, and I am a firm believer of supporting Team USA, even though sometimes we don't like it. But please support Team USA. Even though it's not our main Olympics that we go ham for, still go ahead and give some of those Olympians out there a shout and look at. I know y'all probably like, we don't understand what goes on in the Olympics. They actually got some good Olympics. Snowboarding, bobsled. I watch ice skating, the moguls, all of that. So just take a peek at those Winter Olympics and support our Olympians as well moving forward as we prepare for them 2028 Olympics. Hey, but on that note, if you're like me that don't like to watch football because I'm about to go see if some basketball is on, I know it's some Georgia high school football that's still going on right now. So I'm gonna go and tune into them and enjoy myself. Cause I'm not finna stress over these Falcons. Yeah, it still rise up though, but it'll be rise up when we finally figure out who the heck we rising up for. On that note. We will catch y'all next week after these actually before these games. So we're going to be talking about a couple of those college football games and some more NFL. So let's just get ready, man, because we in for the long haul, baby. Thank y'all for watching In Us the Lab. Bye.
Peace.